Have you ever had a simple conversation and then thought about it for hours afterward? Maybe someone said one sentence, but your mind kept asking, why did they say that?
They really mean? Was there something behind it? If this happens to you often, you may be a deeper thinker than you realize. Deep thinkers don't simply accept what they see on the surface.
They naturally want to understand what is underneath it. They question things. They look for patterns. They consider different possibilities.
And sometimes, their minds keep working long after everyone else has moved on. But here's something important. Deep thinking is not the same as overthinking.
Deep thinking can help you understand a situation. Overthinking can keep you trapped inside it. Today, we're going to look at the psychology behind people who think plain why your mind rarely accepts a simple answer.
Sign number 1. You ask why more than what. Most people are satisfied when they know what happened. You may want to know why it happened. Someone gets angry. Most people think, they're angry. You may think, why are they angry? What happened before this? Is there something else bothering them? You don't just look at the event. You look for the reason behind it. The same thing happens with your own life. You may make a decision and later ask yourself, why did I choose that? What was I really trying to achieve?
Was I reacting emotionally? That constant search for the deeper reason is one of the strongest characteristics of deep thinkers. You're not satisfied with the first explanation. You want the bigger picture.
And this can make ordinary conversations surprisingly interesting to you, because a simple topic can turn into a much deeper question. But asking why is only the beginning. Deep thinkers don't just look deeper.
They often start connecting things. Other people see them as completely separate, and that's where the second sign appears. Sign number 2. You notice patterns other people miss.
Have you ever noticed that someone keeps making the same mistake? Or that the same type of problem keeps appearing in your relationships? Maybe a person behaves differently around different people. Maybe you notice that someone always becomes defensive when a certain topic comes up. Or perhaps you notice patterns in yourself. You keep procrastinating before certain tasks.
You become quiet in certain situations. You react strongly to a particular type of criticism. Instead of seeing these events as random, you start connecting them. You think, I've seen this before.
That's pattern recognition. Deep thinkers often look at individual events, then try to understand how those events connect. And this can be incredibly useful, because once you recognize a pattern, you can start understanding the reason behind it. You may realize that a problem isn't happening once, it's happening repeatedly, and when you notice that, you can finally do something about it. But there is a downside.
When your brain becomes good at finding patterns, it can sometimes find connections something else. The ability to pause and question your own conclusions, and that's exactly where we'll go next.
Sign number 3, you think before you react. Someone says something that upsets you, and your first instinct may be to respond immediately. You pause, you think about what you're feeling, you ask yourself,
why did that bother me? Am I reacting to what actually happened? Or am I reacting because of something from my past? That small pause can make a huge difference. Deep thinkers often don't simply react to their emotions. They try to understand them. This doesn't mean they're always calm. They can still get angry. They can still feel hurt. They can still make emotional decisions.
But they may be more likely to step back and examine what is happening inside their own mind. Instead of saying, that person made me angry, they might ask, why did their...
That is called self-reflection. And the more you understand your own react to let every emotion control your behavior. But there's another sign that becomes obvious when you spend time around a deep thinker.
Sign number #complex conversations. Small talk isn't necessarily bad. Talking about the weather, your weekend, a new movie, it's all normal. But you may become much more interested when the conversation gets deeper. Human behavior, relationships, psychology, life, why people make certain choices. What makes someone happy? What makes people change? You can take one simple idea and explore it from 5 different angles. You may even lose track of time during a meaningful conversation, because you're not just exchanging information, you're exploring ideas, and that's why some conversations can feel edibly stimulating to you.
While others feel exhausting or boring, it's not necessarily because you're antisocial. Your mind may simply crave mental stimulation. You want something to think about, something to question.
Something that challenges the way you see the world. But there's an even more interesting ability that deep thinkers often develop. They can understand an idea without automatically agreeing with it. And that's
Sign number 5. You can see more than one perspective. Imagine you strongly disagree with someone. Your first instinct could be, they're wrong. But instead of stopping there, you ask, why do they think this way? What experiences might have shaped their opinion? What am I missing? This doesn't mean you suddenly agree with them. It means you're willing to understand their perspective before judging it. That's an important difference. Deep thinkers often understand that two people can experience the same situation and walk away with They know their own perspective isn't the entire picture, and that makes their thinking more flexible. They can change their mind when they discover better information. They can say, "I never thought about it that way," and actually mean it. Because being intelligent isn't about sometimes, it's about being willing to admit that you don't have the complete answer yet. And there's one final level of deep thinking, when you questioning only the world around you
And start questioning your own beliefs. That's where things get really interesting. Sign number #6. You need time alone to process your thoughts.
Have you ever needed some quiet time, not because you're lonely, but because your mind feels overloaded? After a busy day, you may want to go somewhere quiet. Take a walk, sit in your room.
listen to music, or simply do nothing for a while. And during that time, the conversation you had, the decision you're trying to make. Have you ever needed some quiet time? Something someone said. Something you could have handled differently. This is one reason deep thinkers often value solitude. Solitude gives information without constant outside stimulation. And there's an important difference here. Solitude isn't the same as loneliness. Loneliness is wanting connection but not having it, is choosing time alone because you value the space. You may enjoy people,
but still need time away from them to recharge and think clearly. But the final sign goes even deeper, because a truly deep thinker doesn't only question other people. They are versus overthinking. But there's something important to remember. Being a deep thinker doesn't mean analyzing everything forever. That's where deep thinking can turn into overthinking. Deep thinking usually moves toward understanding. You explore an idea, consider different possibilities, and eventually reach a clearer conclusion. Overthink, you replay the conversation, imagine every possible outcome, ask what if again and again, but never actually move forward. So remember this, deep thinking searches for clarity.
Overthinking often searches for certainty, and certainty isn't always possible. You can think deeply without letting your thoughts control your life.
So if you recognized yourself in these signs, maybe your mind isn't too much. Maybe you simply process things more deeply than many people around you. You question the obvious. You notice patterns.
You think before reacting. You enjoy meaningful conversations. You can see different perspectives. You value solitude. And you're willing to question your own beliefs.
But don't focus on simply thinking more. Focus on thinking. It's one that knows when to think, what to question, and when to let go. If you related to this video, tell me in the comments.